All right. Good evening and welcome to the South Burlington Development Review Board for February 3rd, 2026. My name is Dawn Philibert and this is my first meeting of the new year. I missed the first one, so I'll say to everyone, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Let me start by introducing you to members of the board. At my far left is Quinn Mann, Ted Linsky, Frank Kochman, Jody Lesko, Charlie Johnston, and our staff, Alex Levin and Marla. Oh God, I almost got through the whole thing. Keene, Marla Keene. Thank you. I know it as well as I know my own name. Thank you. Thank you. So I think tonight will be a relatively short meeting, but I still want to go through the agenda. And it starts with our emergency evacuation procedures. By the way, this meeting is being recorded. In the back of the room, in each corner, there are doors that take you out to the hallway. In the event of an emergency, you would either turn left or right to get out of the building. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes in the order of agenda items?
No.
Hearing none. Move on to announcements. Any announcements?
No.
Okay. Any comments and questions from the public that are not related to the agenda? Hearing none, let's move on to our first project, number 5 on the agenda. After the fact site plan application SP 2601 and conditional use application CU 2601 of Greenfield Capital LLC to amend a previously approved plan for 130,790,000 square feet production facility and office building. The amendment, no, I think I got that number wrong, 130,790 square feet production facility and office building. Sorry about that. The amendment consists of increasing the height of a portion of the building from 48.7 feet to 53 feet, which requires conditional use review at 435 Community Drive. Does anyone have any disclosures or conflicts of interest to disclose? No. Okay. Who is here for the applicant, please?
Hi, my name is Zelda Dively. I'm a civil engineer at BHB, and I am here on behalf of Logic.
Can you make sure your microphone is on?
And or pull it toward you.
Yeah, you can pull it way towards you.
Hello.
Pull it toward you.
Let's do it again.
The base.
Hello, good evening. My name is Zelda Dively. I am a civil engineer at VHB, and I'm here on behalf of Greenfield Capital LLC.
What is your first name again?
Zelda?
Zelda?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Zelda. And you?
I'm Roland Gruneveld. I'm a Film Logic.
Yes, Roland. Okay, thank you. I'm going to swear you in. If you'd each raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. Would you like to give us a very brief overview? I mean, we've read the staff report. You've read the staff report. We've read the draft conditions and conclusions. Just give us a little bit of overview of why you're back here, please.
Sure. So during construction, there were a few different modifications in the field that led to the as-built building height to be about 4.33 feet taller than what was originally approved.
I'm going to ask you to still pull the base of the mic toward you. There you go. Okay. And anything else?
Yes, so because of that, we are seeking approval for an after-the-fact site plan as well as conditional use approval.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have anything to add, Roland?
Probably, well, I mean, in general, I'd say we don't quite know how this happened. And what seems to have happened is that we used original drawings that were submitted to the DRB at the time, and somehow they were not updated during the some of the changes that were made in the design to accommodate some of the HVAC ductwork and some other areas where we needed to make some adjustments. And somehow those updated drawings, never made it back into the DRB application. And here we are. So
Okay.
we were very surprised to learn from our bank that they were doing a survey that the building was higher than it was supposed to be.
Okay. Checks and balances.
John, is David Roy representing you guys on this
David
application?
is, I think he was supposed to be
He is here.
online.
He just had his hand raised. I wanted to make sure he wasn't participating as a member of the public.
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to, if that's okay, allow David to speak as well.
I should probably swear him in.
You probably should.
David, I can't.
Hang on. I haven't gotten him unmuted yet. Okay.
David, we can't see him, correct?
Right. We won't be able to see him, but we can hear him.
Hey,
I need
good
to
evening,
swear you
everybody.
in.
I'm just here to provide any input that may be required. I'm one of the architects that worked on the project.
You're the architect?
Yes.
Okay. If you would raise your right hand, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do. Yeah.
Thank you. And I will say that the architect on our board is not here tonight, unfortunately, but
Okay.
we will somehow get through. So before we get going, Ted, did you have a question?
I did.
Okay. Did anyone have anything?
I did.
Okay, Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a bugaboo of mine. I understand. This was not something that you personally planned to change, but why are we here after the fact again? When did you know that you weren't going to conform to the plans? Or more precisely, when did your builder know that
Yeah.
the builder was not going to conform to the plans?
So I think where this what happened was that we recently did a refinancing of our building with the bank, with a new bank, and they did a land survey and realized the building was too high compared to the original plans, higher than originally planned, and that's when we found out that there was a discrepancy. Somehow, the builder used the plans from the architect, the latest plans, but those plans were not the same as what was used for the DRB application.
Well, then let me ask the architect, were you aware that what was being built did not conform to what had been permitted?
We were looking at the building height, the 3-story portion of the building height, not specifically at the clear story element, which is the central. That's the portion that extends up above the allowable height for the area for the zoning.
I don't know what you mean by you were looking, didn't you? Were you the construction supervisor? Didn't you have to sign off that the construction
yes.
conformed to the plans?
Yes, we did. We were calculating the height of the building using the predominant roof, not the clear story portion of the roof, and that just exceeded the central portion is what exceeded the overall allowable height.
Well, when were you calculating that? When you were before the DRB, or only out in the field? I mean, did the plans?
No, it was
in
after
other words,
after
did
the
the construction
DRB
plans?
hearing.
Did the construction plans vary from the plans that were presented to the DRB?
There were earlier drawings presented to the DRB, and during development, we increased the height of the building to accommodate some mechanical accommodations.
And that was after you got a permit based on the
Yes.
earlier plans, right?
That is correct, yes.
And what stopped? Did you inform the owner that that's what was happening?
I was not aware that we had exceeded the allowable building height for the clear story portion.
That's the end of my inquiry.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, could we pull up the elevation view real quickly? And could the architect or Zelda, if you could point to what is causing it to be 4 feet higher than allowable?
David, maybe you can talk to that.
Yeah. So on the sheet, yeah, there you go. On the sheet that you have there, there is an entry element where the orange band is on the top elevation. There's a clear story portion, kind of a parapet roof above, and that's what exceeded. It was higher than we originally envisioned it as built, and that's what exceeds the allowable height. Partly due to some mechanical issues and other things, but it's not a usable story. It's simply clear story glazing.
But that clear story was still part of the original design that was submitted to the DRB, correct?
It is, yeah.
And you knew you were increasing the height of the roof, correct?
It raised up as a result of some of the mechanical requirements on the third floor became deeper or higher than, and that kind of raised that entire element up as well.
Which, of course, you knew had to be the case, right? I mean, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-huh.
So how long ago is it all built now?
It is, yes.
Yes,
It's been
it was
in
finished about
place
2 years
for
ago.
So
3
how
years.
long ago was there a realization that you exceeded the height that was approved by the DRB?
We
just-
oh, sorry, David, you want to say?
Just a few months ago when they were going through a bank refinance. The bank asked us to confirm some heights, and we realized there was a discrepancy.
And just to be clear, they got their certificate of occupancy from our office in 2023. Height is not something that we can easily measure.
Sure.
You know, we're looking to see if it looks materially different, but otherwise, you know, it's
Yeah,
not something
of
I can
course.
look at from the ground.
But you get a certification that the project has been built in accordance with the approved plans, don't you?
They say the project is built. I don't think we would get something that would
I'm
stand
sorry,
up.
I didn't hear that.
I don't think we would get something that would qualify as a certification. It's a representation that the project is complete and we do an inspection.
Who makes the representation?
The signatory on the certificate of
I'm
occupancy.
sorry, I can't hear you.
The signatory on the certificate of occupancy occupation, I suppose, would be the person making the representation that the project's done.
So we don't ask for that from the architect?
No.
Ted, did you have a question?
It just feels that this was something easily should have been noticed well before a bank
Yes.
stumbled on it, and multiple years, and even when that adjustment would have been made for the mechanical issues, this should have been picked up and brought to our attention. I guess
Yes.
I think Frank is probably going down this road. I won't speak for you, but I'm struggling with why it's been multiple years for us to know this, and maybe we wouldn't have known it if you didn't even refinance.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have known in the bank if the bank wouldn't have measured this and said, "Hey, there's a problem." So yeah, I completely agree. It's
Yeah,
not.
so I'm not sure what I'm sorry. I guess what the remedy or what the impact of that is. I think we are where we're at, and it's 4 feet, but
Yeah.
it's disappointing. And I guess this is the second one, and since I've been on the board, where we've had someone come and
Oopsie.
do an oopsie afterwards, and they just kind of run through the stop sign,
Yeah.
and we just have to accept it, and that's very
Well,
frustrating.
that's what I'm concerned, for the record, that's why I'm pursuing this line of inquiry, which is frankly almost irrelevant to what we're ultimately going to do, because it's unlikely that we tell you to reduce the height by 4 feet
Right.
or to chop off your clear story. I'm not saying that's not possible, but I think it's somewhat unlikely.
It would look pretty bad.
And, it's, I don't know if I speak for the board, but I'll speak for myself. I don't like being in that position.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I also don't like being in this position on our
Understood.
side as well. This is
Yeah.
not something that should have happened, and we're really sorry for this happening. This is not acceptable. I agree.
We agree as well. Yeah.
I would agree, and you're right that if you hadn't refinanced, you would not know. But
Right.
at some point, there were approved plans, and I know nothing about the process of doing this, but at some point there were plans that were approved and somebody built a building. Somebody had to realize somewhere along the line, oh my God, this is going to have to be 4 feet higher. And I'm puzzled as to why they didn't pull up a flag for you.
I can definitely tell you that this was not done on purpose.
No,
That,
I'm
I
not
think that's
suggesting.
important to state. This was not. Nobody here said, "Oh, let's just make it higher and
Right.
hope nobody notices." That was not the intent.
No,
I
Roland,
was-
I understand that, and I'm not implying that.
No, I know, but I just want to make sure I
Sure,
state that.
sure.
Yeah.
But it just seems like somewhere along the line, there was a missing checks and balances. or
Yes,
something.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just speak for myself. I think it sounds like an oversight happened.
Yes.
Oversights sometimes happen.
Yep.
I think we can probably all have, experienced that. I appreciate the line of questioning. We don't like to see things after the fact. And I think the applicant has, I appreciate all the explanation you provided, both you and your architect. And it sounds like you guys are here in good faith. And so at this point, again, to speak, for myself and, we have to move forward. And also it still needs to comply with the, applicable regulations that we're looking at here. So personally, when I look at after the fact, I'm still looking at compliance. It doesn't mean it's an automatic approval. And so that's how we have to consider after the fact. And, it does make it a little bit wonkier if we do ask for kind of corrective action. Probably not the case here. But anyways, appreciate the explanation and that you guys are here in good faith, at least it sounds like from my perspective. So thank you.
Well, I think we ought to take a closer look at whoever signs the certification that the project has been completed in accordance with the plans.
What I'm hearing from Marla is that there's not like an architect or an engineer that signs a certification. It's a certificate of occupancy, which is probably signed by the owner or the owner's representative, right?
And I'm suggesting that maybe I
Right, yeah,
offer
I think
that as a thought for the administration.
Or the planning
Maybe you
commission.
go a step further because, it's not the first time or the second time. You haven't been here as long as we have. It's, pretty predictable.
Yeah, I mean,
Often.
I would
Well,
say-
often's a stretch. But,
I'd say on other state permits, right, if you were to violate it, the state would tell you to change it, right? If I built a waste or designed a wastewater system, at the end I have to sign a certification that was built to the plans or explain why it wasn't. So maybe it's a planning commission question.
So ultimately, yes, they should be amending their approvals. If they were to have done this in the correct order, you would be still looking at the same standards.
But I don't think that's the point. I think the point is somewhere along what I'm hearing is somewhere along the line, there was a lack of accountability to the people who were entrusted with building a building to the specifications that we approved.
And I'm sure 100 people worked on this project.
I'm sure,
And
yep.
4 of them came to the DRB meetings.
Yeah.
and
I think
But-
what I would suggest is that we would just we can talk about this after this, right? But send something to the planning commission. The state permitting really prevents this because the person who's on record, right, the architect or the engineer has to sign an affidavit or certification, right? That the permitted plans were built by the permit, right? So then technically it would be the architect or the engineer who's on the hook at the end if it's not, right?
and that's what
Wouldn't
I'm
we be in the
suggesting.
same situation at that point?
You'd be in the same situation, except theoretically, the engineers violated their professional certification at that point, right? So it holds,
Their association can then take corrective action specifically for that individual, as opposed to it coming here. I'm going to offer a suggestion, if I may. I think there's probably, I agree, I appreciate that you're here in good faith and doing the thing that you need to do now that you've discovered this. And I think we can have a discussion about whether or not there are things that either the board or the staff that support the board can do differently in the future. But in the interest of your time, maybe we move on.
I don't mind moving on in the interest of our time.
That as well. I was
don't
being
mind
generous.
Spending some of his time.
Be here all night long.
Let's not.
But I do think this is something we need to talk about. but let's move on. We're done piling on. Let's move on. Okay, I'm looking at staff comment number 1. Staff considers that the narrative provided by the applicant and the original request for increase in height in SP 2146 are sufficient to demonstrate that the proposed height increase of 4.33 feet will not have an adverse effect on the views or character of the neighboring properties and recommends the board discuss.
I move we close the hearing.
Okay, have you read number 2, and are you ready? Are you prepared to make the same motion, Frank?
I am.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. Not hearing a second,
Okay.
I think we need to go through the process. Thank you, Frank. Does anyone have any concerns relevant to number 1? Does anyone have any concerns that this additional 4.33 feet would have an adverse effect on the views or character of the neighboring properties?
So when I read this, I wasn't here for the original application, but they must have had to do a view shed or, a scenic when they put up the building for the properties that are up the hill from them, right? That now they're going
Yes.
to be putting a brand new building and blocking that, right? I guess you did the research, right? You verified and said that doesn't seem to have an adverse effect.
I pulled this from the staff report from 2146. This was from their study of the view. Yeah.
So the overall building didn't, and this additional 4 feet in height likely does.
This was I think the plan exceeded the height dimension requirements by 13 feet at the time, and they asked for that waiver. And that was their response.
Okay.
And there was no discussion that if it was 13 was like the max that we wanted to go with, or it did not appear that, so it wasn't saying.
The request was for 13.66 feet, and they didn't mention what if we go extra 3 from there.
Okay.
There was no discussion of that.
So it was Rearc or Rearch, wasn't it?
They were
Right,
the
that's
contractor.
builder, Rearc,
That's the builder. Okay.
yeah, the builder. And Wieman
We-
Lamphere, David Roy is the architect.
Yes.
He works for Rearch.
For
David
Wieman
Roy is
Lamphere,
is the principal architect at Wieman Lamphere, the architect firm.
So what is Rearc?
Rearc is the builder, a construction company.
Okay.
So we basically have VHB.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
VHB is doing the
Again,
civil.
not familiar with the process.
No, not at all. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right. Anyone have anything to add before we move on to number 2? Are we good with the views? All right. Number 2, second staff comment. 14.10B permits the board to attach such additional reasonable conditions and safeguards as it may deem necessary to implement the purpose of these regulations. Staff recommends that the board discuss if any additional requirements are necessary in order to comply with the provisions above and the purposes of the regulations. So, my perspective is that what's necessary is related to administrative processes, and we can discuss that at another time. I'm not sure that I see that there's anything else to discuss related to your request. But I would be open to other people's input. Ted, I see you shaking your head. No. Okay.
No additional comments.
So you're not disagreeing with me. You're okay. Does anyone have anything to add? Frank, you look like you're poised to speak.
I again move that we close the hearing.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor of close the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
We need public comment before we do that. I'm sorry. Let's back up. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this?
There are no members of the public here tonight.
Okay, so all in favor of closing the hearing, say aye.
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 Opposed? No. Okay. Thank you. We
Appreciate it.
will make our decision in a deliberative session.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And can we have that deliberative session tonight?
We have to do the minutes.
We have minutes.
Yes.
You can deliberate after the meeting is concluded for the evening.
So the minutes of the last meeting, I was not there, so I'm going to abstain, but I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of January 21st.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
One abstention. Okay. Any other business? Okay, the meeting is closed. Thank you.